All right, folks, next we're going to build the same ChatGPT memory, but with SQLite instead of in-memory data structure. If you want to know how the in-memory data structure works, there should be another video right before this one that I uploaded earlier in the week. I'll check that out and then come back to this one. Okay, so now let's see how you want to do the same thing in SQLite. Just as a quick refresher, what we're trying to build is something like this, where every time I have a new question for ChatGPT, it should remember all the context from previous questions rather than needing me to remind it every time I have a new question. The way we do it is something like this, where every time we have a new question, before sending it to OpenAI, we store it in our memory. And then when OpenAI gives us an answer, we store that back into the memory. The next time around, when we're asking a new question, not only do we pass the new question to the model, but we also pass everything from the memory. Again, we get an output, we put it back into the memory, getting the prompt more and more context every single time we have a new question. So I think I did a much deeper dive into this concept in the previous video. So if this does not make too much sense, just refer to that one and then come back to this one. Okay, so now let's take a look at the code to see how you can build this memory using a local SQLite database. To jump into the code here, the first thing I want you to see here is I have a locally running SQLite database, and then there's this message store table, and this is the table that will store all our message history. Okay, how the table is created, when is it created, how does the data look like? We'll talk about all of that once I show you the code. So similar to last time, the first thing is going to be all the import statements. Feel free to pause it, take a look, but as I show you the remaining code, it should start making more sense. We have our model, which is a chat OpenAI model. It's the GPT-4o. We're creating our prompt here, which is going to be a question, and then the placeholder is going to be history. This is the variable that's going to store all the previous questions. So everything that is stored in memory over here, that's going to load up in this history variable and then be passed off to OpenAI with the new prompt. And then this is our new prompt. We create our line chain, or this is going to be our chain with the prompt and the model. And then we're going to, when we're invoking the chain, we're going to give it our new question. Okay, finally, this is the new part, which is the SQLite memory rather than the data structure memory that we had here. Let me just go through the next one too. Okay, so to explain this one, the first thing we're doing is creating our SQLite engine. Okay, this is going to be the SQLite or the DB file you have in your local. In my case, it is right over here. You can see db.sqlite. Okay. And then similar to last time, we're creating a new runnable called runnable with message history. We're passing it our original chain. And then we're passing it this function. So if I take a look at this runnable here, you're going to see if I scroll down, it takes in the get session history. And what this function should do is it should be able to take in a session ID, which is a string, and then spit out the history for that session. What this is going to let you do is have multiple sessions within SQLite, and for every session, you can have its own history. Okay, so this is a good way to support multiple users in your app, or have one user create multiple sessions. Again, as we look at an example, this is going to make a lot more sense. So that's here, and then this is the same. We have our input key and our history key. So the history key is history, which should be consistent with the message placeholder. And then the input key is going to be the variable that you use to take the question from the user. This is again very similar. We're going to prompt the user for the question, and then we're going to invoke our chain. When invoking the chain, I don't think we need this anymore. So all we have is the question. And then we need to pass it a config, which is going to be our session ID. And this is going to be whatever session you are associating with the question. In our case, I'm hard coding it, but in a real life situation, most likely this will be the user's user ID or some kind of a different mapping between a user ID and a session ID. And finally, we're printing out the result from the model. Okay, so let's go through an example with this one. The first thing I'm gonna show you is the table. So if I do a quick refresh, I'll just run the query. You can see that our table is empty. Our table has 3 columns: ID, session ID, and message. So the first question is, how and why is this table created? So if I go to the example here, see, we're passing it the SQL chat message history, right? So let's take a look at this one. So if you take a look at this and then just search for the table name, if you remember, our table is called message store. So if I quickly take a look here, you can see that by default, where is it? Yeah. By default, whenever you are creating a SQL chat message history object and passing it the session ID and the engine, by default, it creates the table message store. If you already have a table with a more complicated structure or schema, you can always pass in the table name. But in our case, we're just going to use the default table, which is the message store table. And by default, this is the schema where we have auto incrementing ID, and then we have the session ID and the message. This is where that relationship between a session ID and message comes in. By default, the concept of memory in LangChain is that your base memory or your chat history needs to be associated with a session ID. This way you can support multiple chat histories for different users or different sessions. Okay, let's go through an example here then. So we have our code built here. I'm gonna cross this out, and then we're gonna keep an eye on our history. Okay, so if you know, the history is empty at the beginning. Now let me just quickly collapse this and then expand it. Okay, let's start it off with the question. Okay. Let's say that who am I? Okay, and remember our session ID is Alice123. It says I don't have access to the personal information. Now let's look at our table. So you can see that we have 2 new rows, and both of them have the session ID Alice123. If we look at the first message, not here, we want to do this one. We can see this is the question we asked the model, who am I? Okay, and if you look at the second message, this is what we got back from the model, that I don't have access to personal information. Okay, now let's say I am Bob, 20 years old, living in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am an engineering manager. Awesome. Okay, so now let's do a refresh. We have 2 new messages. The first one's going to be the context I provided it, and the next one is going to be the message we just got over here. Okay, awesome. Now let me ask it, where do I live? It knows Atlanta, Georgia, and then which country? United States. So now you can see that you can build up a conversation very easily without needing to repeat yourself over and over again. Okay. And now if I run the query here, you're going to see the last message here is the one we just got back. Now let's take a look at the concept of session. Okay, if I go back to the code, I'm gonna kill the program here. Okay. Now, remember how we're hard coding Alice 123? Let's change it to something like Claire 123. Now let's rerun our program. Now, if I ask it, who am I? It doesn't have access to my information. Now, if you look at the database, you're going to see that we have 2 new rows with the session ID Claire123, and then the message here. Okay. Now, if I give it some new context, like I am Claire, I'm 22 years old, living in Florida. And then we're going to do the same thing. Let's ask it, who am I? Where do I live? Which country? So you're going to see we're getting all the answers here. If I do a refresh, I get all the new messages. Now, let's do one last thing where we kill the program. Let's go back to our original session key, which was Alice123. If I do that, and then let me just kick off the program here. Now, let's see what happens if we ask it, who am I? It remembers I'm Bob, right? Because remember the Alice123, this session was, let me see if I can find that message. Yes, this session was associated with my message where I told the model that I'm Bob, okay? Similarly, if I go back to Claire123 and then run our program and then ask it, who am I? It's going to remember that I'm Claire, okay? Now, just to close it out, let's say our session is a totally new one. And then we ask it, who am I? It does not remember, right? And then let's quickly see over here. Now we're going to give it some context. Let's say I am Alice living in California. Who am I? It remembers that I'm Alice from California. And then if we go down here, you're going to see that the answer we just got here. Okay, so hopefully this makes it clear how you can have the concept of memory in LangChain with OpenAI and SQLite. Okay. In the next video, we're going to build it using Redis. So the same memory, the same concept, but our underlying storage will be Redis. And then we're going to do it with Postgres, and then finally with Cassandra. Okay, yeah, I think that's all I got for y'all today. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.